Hello, hello, hello. I'm making a stone video for Jeffrey Dahmer. This is from the ocean, present for all of us, and it gives you infinitely healing energy. Gives all beings and entities infinitely healing energy and love. So I need to make this video because it's important for me, and I have something to add to the story, to all the videos that are out there about him, and just wanted to add my thoughts to it because I think it is important that we look deeper, that we look a bit deeper than just the outside situation, the whatever, the horror and the circumstances. So it is very important to understand that Jeffrey Dahmer was an infinitely sensitive being and child, and that he has been crushed during childhood, that he has been badly traumatized and made to feel extremely helpless. And in this helplessness, in this devastating helplessness that caused severe depression in him, in this extreme helplessness, because he was still at the beginning of his learning journey as a soul. He didn't know what to do with this situation, with that terrible helplessness. So that's why he went into his own world, as he called it, his own world of dissecting roadkill. I hope he didn't kill any animal. I don't think he did. I don't think he killed an animal. So I had the camera directed away from the driveway, and he loved animals. He was very sweet with the dog and the cat. He was very sweet with his baby brother. I don't have the camera directed at the driveway. My goodness. I mean, that it's like at some point it really takes a little it really goes on my nerves. I mean, paranoia up to a point, yes, I agree, but like there comes a point where it just really, really, really gets annoying. But anyway, and particularly when people don't work on it, that's called escapism. So avoidant personality disorder. That's what that is. So, but anyway, I'm talking about Paul doing something over there in the back. But anyway, Jeffrey Dahmer was an infinitely sensitive being and mind, and he was crushed and he was hurt and he was made neurotic by society. I see his parents, they tried, they meant well and all of this, but they too are crushed by society. They too are victims of religion and victims of society. They never questioned this stuff. Jeffrey Dahmer, I think it's very important to say that he was a homosexual because those needs, those feelings collided with his religion. Most people don't question what comes at us in society. Most people don't question it, particularly not if our needs are somewhat in sync with this, are somewhat not colliding with it. But wait until something collides with society. There's no better example than homosexuality, okay? It collides with society, with almost all societies around the world, okay? Humans are extremely intolerant beings, okay? And they have created extremely intolerant religions. And that makes people very, very, very helpless, and they feel like they don't know what's going on anymore. And Jeffrey Dahmer tried to suppress his homosexuality with any force he could get. So, and he thought of himself as evil, as the devil, and as just as a bad person, And it makes me cry, because because I see this infinitely sensitive child, you know, who is somewhere in between male and female on that scale. I mean, male body, but a female brain, 100%, right? And totally sensitive and even maternal. And growing up in this society, liking men romantically and sexually, and he doesn't know why. He doesn't understand it. He said he's terrified of his own needs. He tried to suppress it as good as he could, stomp on it, with because he has been drilled with Christianity and with their extreme intolerance and homophobia. And then he hated himself, and I wonder how many people are in that situation. God, like humongously many people are in that situation. That's why there are priests constantly molesting little boys. Why did they become priests in the first place? Of course, because they have been drilled with their terrible religion. And then they become priests because they are hoping that they can etch away. They can acidify away their natural biological needs of their homosexuality. Homosexuality is something that someone is born with. This is not acquired. This is not a choice. This is not something you decide someday you want to do. No, this is something you come into the world with. Okay, that's how your brain is set up. So if your brain is on the scale from between A and Z on the gender spectrum, then there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, and you don't even know where to belong. You don't even know. You'd be terrified. I mean, you'd be bullied. I mean, it's these people that are in between male and female, somewhere on that scale. And some people have it worse than others. Those people, we should feel extreme compassion for them, and we should feel sorry for them instead of demonizing these people. But that's exactly what religions are doing. They demonize people, and some people do it aggressively, some people do it covertly. The covert actions, the covert reactions of people towards certain things, the this, I call it the sadistic smirk. I see that in Christians a lot. That in itself that's a stagnator soul reaction to anything that is different. And he grew up in that world, in this extreme world of intolerance and bigotry and hate and dualism and religious enclave. So as many do, you know. Not everyone becomes a serial killer. Most people don't. So, and he explained in very detail. I want people to watch these interviews and also watch how he sits there. He sits there hunched over, you know. He sits there like there's no life in him at all, you know. Like it's like he sits there like, okay, just shoot me, you know, because that's how he sits there. Like it's over with. His life is over with, and there's no hope in anything. And he was also like this. He also is looking like this in the photos that were taken of him ever before he was convicted. So where he was still acting out, he was already in this posture, already walking kind of hunched over, a little bit autistic, um, a little bit on the autistic side, you know, not being able to connect with people very well, not knowing where to fit in. No way he was gonna be coming out being a homosexual to family and friends and or school friends and classmates. So he just didn't know what to do. So he became sort of like a clown for a while, just to be smiled at all. You know? So otherwise, no one would even look at him or smile at him ever. They would just ignore him. So if he could be a clown, then maybe someone could smile at him and give him some attention, give him a little bit love, you know. And he was desperate for that. He was desperate for that love. So he tried to suppress the homosexuality with all force, and he hated himself. He hated that. He was terrified of that, those needs, all because of religion. You know, if it wasn't for religion, we could be free. We could be free minds and brains, and we could love ourselves for what we are, for whom we are. You are who you are. If you're straight or gay or whatever you feel, or whatever your needs are, if you want to paint, if you want to do sewing, if you like gardening, if you do rock climbing, love yourself for the way you are. Love your mind and your character and your body. You are precious, okay? And if we are free without religion, then we never get into an inner conflict. We never get into a state of repressing things and hiding from society, hiding from oneself. Okay. Then everything is cool. Then we never get into this type of pressure cooker in the first place, you know, where this kind of stuff then, where terrible things escalate. And so he talked about this. He was a very intelligent man, and the reason why I dropped out of school and college was because he was drinking. He was drinking alcohol. He was The more he realized, well, the more his needs were pushing up, the more he was drinking and trying to drown it out. But then he would end up going to the gay bars anyway, you know, as fundamentalist the upbringing was, you know, the urge of the body, the urge of the sexuality, particularly in men, is so powerful, whether they're straight or gay. You know, is the sexual urge in men is so powerful that it overrides even religion. So we see that's why we see the priests molesting little boys. So because it just the urge becomes so inflamed. You know, Jiddu Krishnamurti, that's one anecdote I wanted to throw in real quick. There was this Buddhist monk, and he had dedicated his life. He came to see Jiddu Krishnamurti, He was around 40, and he said he became a monk as a teenager, and he really wanted to dedicate himself to that. And this idea of that people have of what they call God, this idea, it's just an idea. So he wanted to become one with God, and Buddha didn't even teach that, but people always have this idea of this, or this idea of Buddha. So it's always becomes an idea. It becomes something that has been traded to them from generations to generations. It's still not the truth, right? So in this need to please that religion and that concept that he had of Buddha and God and all of this. Papa, come to me. Come to me, my love. Yes, oh yes. It is nice here, Papa Dog. It is nice here, God. Orange God. Yes, it is nice. So in this urge to follow through with that religious dedication, that man has suppressed his sexual urges. That guy happened to be straight, but he was a man with sexual urges. And he said the sexual urges, they became so strong that at some point, because it was stronger than the religion, but the need for this idea of God and this idea of following through as a Buddhist monk was so intense. Like I see that as a mental illness. I see that as a collective mental illness. It was so intense that he actually castrated himself. So he, I don't know, probably cut everything off or something. So and then he regretted it real badly. And then he found out about Jiddu Krishnamurti, and he sees Jiddu Krishnamurti never talks about God. He never talks about spirituality and the beyond and the mystical and whatever, the whatever people interpret into this, into something in the cosmos, or as being a god, or as being potentially dangerous, so we need to please it or something. That's how religion got started. That's how this mindset got started, is this out of fear, basically. It's a fear-based mental illness. That's all religiousness is. So then he started listening to Jiddu Krishnamurti. He started to realize what he had done. He had mutilated himself. That's all he had done, and nothing else. And he had ruined his life with that. So we need to love our genitals too. We need to love ourselves. We need to love every cell and every single cell of our beingness, of our body and mind. And people undermine this. They undermine their love for themselves when they are in fear of religion, in fear of their religion. Okay? So I want this to be very clearly understood now. So, and that is what happened with Jeffrey Dahmer as well. He tried to suppress it. It was an inner tug-of-war between the need for this romantic love with another man and the religion that stood completely against it. In war. It stood in war against it. And this is the situation we have today. This is still happening, Jeffrey Dahmer's story is very loud and clear. It's a message to the world. It's a loud and clear message that says, don't go in that direction. Don't make someone become like me, is what his message is. Don't force kids into that same suffering, into that same agony, into that same self-hate that arises then out of it, because they put their religion higher than anything else. And the religion, all it is, it's mental illness. It's something we need to heal from, okay? That's why Friedrich Nietzsche said, someone needs to come and save you from your savior, because that's not a savior, okay? That's a, that's a, that idea of savior or Christ is mental illness. That's all it is. Christ was not about this, what they made out of him. It's definitely not. An indigo soul trying to help. There are many, many, many more people and souls throughout history that are more advanced than Jesus, but people cling to this one thing. And yeah, he was a good person, but there are many people that are more advanced. Paul Watson, for example, Captain Paul Watson, saving thousands and thousands of whales, saving more whales and dolphins and other sea animals than anyone on earth ever in history. Yeah, he's the God level soul, but people don't see it. No, because they follow whatever is being told to them by the media and by their religions again. Yeah. That's why the corporate agenda, they love that vehicle. Religion to them is a tool. That's how they can manipulate people to the fullest degree. Don't let them do that to you. Free yourselves, okay? Don't do what all these other people are doing, what the priests are doing, or what happened to Jeffrey Dahmer. So at some point he met a hitchhiker, and a young guy, I don't know, 18 I think he was. And he picked him up and he wanted to be friends with him. He really did. And hitchhiker was hanging out with him for a couple of hours, and from the photo, I don't know really what the hitchhiker wanted or what his feelings were for Jeffrey, but they hung out for a while, and then the hitchhiker wanted to leave. And that's when Jeffrey could not handle it that the guy wanted to leave. Okay. And that's how lonely he was. He was that lonely. He was that desperate and in desperate need for someone to be close to him. And that also, that despair, that says an awful lot about what he must have suffered as a child, as a baby. Abandonment, things, and his mother was mentally ill. She had to be hospitalized, and I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying this is a tragic situation, and she was probably not able to be fully there for that child. So then the abandonment fear comes in, and it comes in from underneath and comes in like a tsunami wave. And he was also, because he was not aware of his own needs or anything, everything unconsciously tucked away and stomped on, and blinded by armors of denial and things and pushing things away, all of this. So when that's the situation, the more we repress something with force, the more it forces up. It forces up like it's just the thermodynamics, it's the dynamics of physics and chemistry. It's like it forces itself up. You cannot continue to repress something. Repress and repress and repress. It will come up like a volcano. And that is what happened with him. It's real tragic. That's when he snapped, he lost it, and he beat that guy unconscious. Then because he had already had this need, he had this wish to be lying next to a man who was unconscious. That had been a fantasy of his. So I have it turned away from you. I'm not showing. So I'm not showing you. Okay. Showing only towards the weeds and towards myself. So so he lie down next to that man who was unconscious, and when he, I guess when he came back to consciousness, he killed him to just to make sure that he does not get up and leave. And that's how desperate he was for this being to stay there with him. So it's very different in the Ted Bundy case. Ted Bundy, he was obsessed with women, and he was obsessed with young student women, intellectual women, and he hated them at the same time. It's very, very similar to Elliot Rodger. That was Ted Bundy. So for them, there's a lot of rage involved. When Jeffrey Dahmer talked about his boyfriends, he said he did not kill him out of rage. He killed him because he didn't want them to leave. Okay, that's what. And it was so, the dynamic of that fear was so intense. That is, of course, a state of insanity. That is when the mind is no longer seeing things in the right proportions. Religion itself is insanity. People need to understand this. Religion suppresses natural things. Okay, one more word about what causes homosexuality. Okay, it's not the homosexuality that is the problem here. Okay, it is religion that is the problem with this situation. Okay, with all these situations that are tragic out there, that are tying into this particular thing, this particular fear that the religion has of homosexuality. So okay, he was just a crushed person, and he loved men, and that is his right, you know. And the way this comes about is it starts way in the womb, you know, when the mother is 3 months pregnant. So the 3 months range, that's also interesting. That's also the range where I personally would not have an abortion. That's just my personal view on it. But I respect every woman to abort at any stage, because that's their body and that's their choice. Even if it's really, really large, the child, even if the belly is this big, and even if there are two in or three, or no matter how big. So that's still their body. Okay, so I fully support them on it. I personally just couldn't, you know, I couldn't go beyond the 3 months range. So because I don't know, it's like the size of a guinea pig, a large guinea pig, you know. I just couldn't do it. But that, I tell you, that is the developmental stage in utero, where the embryo is developing the gender. So I think they all start out as sort of as female, and then out of this sort of a- animal state, like a reptile. Out of this reptile, they look like reptiles, sort of, you know, like a more like an iguana. And so it's sort of like a female neutral state, and then from there it starts to do gender differentiation. So it starts to go into cell differentiation on in in that realm of gender development. So then it has to do with the hormones, it has to do with the mother, it has to do with the hormones that are shed out by the mother, and has to do with all kinds of things that tie into what determines the body then to shed out specific hormones in order to initiate the specific gender development process. Okay, in this guinea pig of 3 months. Okay, so and when the mother experiences stress, they first came out in the Psychologie Heute magazine in Germany, the equivalent to Psychology Today, is a scientific magazine on psychology and neuroscience, and they came out with the first study they had done on rats, which is horrible. I don't support it. And they had also done long-term studies on people where they just interview them and see, the outcome, and they compare, what was the mother going through, and did the mother have specific stress and so on, and did that lead to the homosexuality. And they came out with a very clear yes. Okay, it is absolutely clear. It's been proven already in 1989. It has been proven that homosexuality is being set at the third month of embryonic development in utero, and what causes a developmental stagnation, or what causes the developmental stagnation that prevents the embryo from either being all the way female or going to all the way male is stress, alcoholism, drug use of the mother. That's what causes this. So the mothers that are so desperate to have children under bad circumstances, they are causing this to their children. They're causing it, and then they blame the children. That's what causes suicide and homicide and all of that suffering in the world, is the ignorance and the unconsciousness in people. Also, they don't even question themselves. Why do you have to have a child if you are so neurotic and messed up? If you are an alcoholic and you can't have an abortion because of your shit religion, I have to say this. This is very important that people understand this. This is not acceptable. Okay, we need to come really clean about this. This is not acceptable. So, and yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer is like the prototype of a victim of this situation, the absolute prototype of it. That is not his choice, what hormones his body is shedding out, or what his brain formation is like. The brain of a woman and the male body. That's horribly, horribly difficult already. Then society comes in and makes a nightmare out of it. My gosh, is this awful. Instead of him just going, oh, he's gay, so what? It's okay. It's nothing wrong. It's like it's as okay as I'm a woman or you are a man. Just the same thing. There's no judgment in it. It's completely neutral, in terms of judgment or evaluating. It just is. Okay? This is a hummingbird. This is a tree. I'm a woman. You are a man. You're a woman. So you're gay. You're straight. It just is, and there's nothing wrong with this at all. And you need to love yourselves the way you are, just the way you are. Okay, fully 100%. And don't listen. It starts with you, really. It starts with you, the listener of this video. Go away from your religion. That doesn't make you evil, quite the opposite. It makes you very brave, and it makes you very caring and compassionate to walk away from any religion and to question these things. You can still have, if there is something that Jesus said, like, you know, love all beings. That's a true statement. We don't need to make that into a religion. Okay, you can say, hey, yeah, Jesus said that, or maybe he said it. We don't even know. Yeah? But you can attribute it to him. You can say, love all beings, and quote by Jesus. Yeah, okay, that's not religion. So you can use these different teachers. You can use the Buddha as a teacher. Don't make a religion out of it. There's no need for it. There are many teachers out there that had something to say. Okay? So why should we make a religion out of all of this? And why should we catapult someone onto a throne, pedestal, or crown someone like Napoleon? What for? Why do we need to worship people or idolize anyone? It doesn't make any sense. There's no need for it. It just causes more problems. The moment you idolize someone, you shed your own responsibility. You go like, oh, I can just lean back. I made that person my superior, my parent, my God, my king. And then I'll just repeat everything he says. No, that leads to disaster. Absolute, total disaster. You are your own king. You are your own queen. Okay? You are the student. We're perpetual students. Okay? Existence is a school. That's what it is. That's why there's so much hardship in it, because that's that's the learning ground. That's our homework. The hardship is our homework. Okay? And we're here to not to lean back and let someone else do it. We're also not here to medicate ourselves with substances, because that also is an escape mechanism. We're here to sit with it and be fully sober and fully conscious, and not run away. Not run away at all. Ever. Never. But fully face it. Whatever is the situation, the situation speaks to us. It's our teacher. It has something to say. Okay? And then we can evaluate the situation and say, okay, so I'm not going to run away from it anymore. I'm not going to be in denial about it anymore. This is my situation, whatever your situation is. You lost your job, your wife left, whatever it is. You've been bullied. If you're a teenager, you were bullied. Sit down with this. Don't escape into something. Don't cater to the bullies anymore. Don't cater to those motherfuckers of your religion that continue to make mashed potato out of you and your brain. So don't continue with this any further. They are full of crap. They got their own shit. There's a reason why they ended up like this. Okay. So you walk away. Okay. You don't need to hate them. They are also victims. You walk away from an abusive situation, whether that is a religious enclave or some arrogant assholes in the fashion industry that try to make you a skeleton, or some asshole men that want to pride themselves with a skinny wife, so they starve you so that they can be proud when they go to dinner with you. I really, really, really hate to think about those kind of situations where people are being oppressed and the people let them do it to them. That I really have a problem with. I really can't stand it. If you give into this, you will be responsible to continue that life cycle of horror and suffering. Say no to it. Say, just, this is it. I've had it. I'm not going to continue anymore. My motherfucker mafia boyfriend, bye. see you, don't see you anymore, okay? I'm going, I'm leaving, I've had it. You get your own skeleton, you get someone else's skeleton. It's not gonna be my body, okay? I'm gonna be round and fat the way I like it, and I'm gonna eat whatever I like. I'm healthy food, and I'm gonna feed myself and my cells and my brain. And I'm gonna drink pure water, and I'm gonna be sober, and I'm gonna be putting whole vegan food in my precious body, okay? And I'm gonna be nice and chubby the way I love it, okay? That's what you need to tell him, and then he will say something insulting, and then you say, bye, peace, okay? So that's my message to the women out there. Say bye to Anna Wintour. Bye, Anna. Have a good one. Okay, you live your life. Okay, I live my life. Okay, so you're the millennial. You're the new generations. You're the fourth generation light workers. Okay, you're coming here, and you say bye to the old school. Okay, and you move further. You walk on. Okay, let them do what they don't struggle with them. They don't. You can't even struggle with them. You probably can't struggle with any religious person either. So, whether it's someone that's religiously fashionista, or that's religiously uh, wanna be rich, or that's religiously religious. It doesn't matter. It's all coming from that same ego mind state. Say no to it, walk away, abandon it, and then things will get better. I wish I could have helped Jeffrey Dahmer, but we can't turn the time back. All I can do now is make him a video, and make all of us a video with this, and let him speak to you through this video, basically, and say, don't repeat this. Don't make the same mistakes over and over and over again. He has paid the ultimate price for the neuroticism of society. And that's a reality of this. That is the reality. And all of his victims paid the ultimate price for the sickness of human society, and their sick religions. This is a fact. This is a total fact check video. Okay, so you guys take care. Peace and love.